I remember this particular day, we were talking on the phone, and then he just decided to open up to me about some doubts and fears that he was having. And I was like, I'm literally having the same, I'm having the same fears and doubts. And I was like, okay. The next question says, were there times you doubted and how did you overcome it? Were there times I doubted that he was God's will for me, or that it was the time I had to get married? I think a lot of my doubt was before I accepted the proposal. By the time I was accepting the proposal, there was like 80 to 90% of all my fear had been dealt with. There was still a residual percentage of fear and doubts. It wasn't even really fear and doubts. It was just allowing God deal with certain other things, certain other, not related to the age issue. I was just allowing God to deal with like another aspect I'm going to talk about in another video. But so much of the fear and doubt was dealt with before I even accepted the proposal. So by the time I accepted, I just knew. I knew that this was God's will for me. And everything in our courtship was just confirming that yes, this is God's will. I don't think okay, yes, I did have a moment. When I doubted. And that was one of the moments when God started teaching my fiancé then, my husband and I, transparency with each other. Because I remember this particular day, we were talking on the phone, and then he just decided to open up to me about some doubts and fears that he was having. And I was like, I'm literally having the same I'm having the same fears and doubts. And I was like, okay. That was one of the first times that we and this was very early on in the relationship, that we started learning that it's really okay, we can be ourselves to each other, like full transparency, to the extent where we felt okay to admit that I'm having some doubts, I'm having some fears. And after that, immediately after I was able to open up to him about that fear just literally disappeared and that's never come back. Like I've never doubted after that this was the person that God had for me. Right? So it's possible to not doubt. It's possible to get to a place of conviction where you just know that you know. I don't know how to explain it, but I think that is one thing I want to point out here. It is possible to know. Don't allow the world deceive you that you just have to. Right? And yes, there are going to be challenges that you face and all that. But again, it's a journey of faith. I did have some doubts when we were a few weeks to the wedding, and again I decided to confide in my fiancé. It wasn't again about the age. It was just about will I be good enough? That last minute fear. Okay, this is it. Oh, I am getting into marriage. Oh, this is it. Will I be good enough? Will I be? What if I mess this up? What if I get into this and mess it up? And I remember when my fiancé then said, he was like, it's a journey of faith. And I just held on to that, like, if like you get married early, if like you get married late, people that get married early are looking and feeling like the grass is greener on the other side of maybe I should have waited longer. And then people that are getting married late, in quotes, feeling like maybe I should have gotten married earlier. So the next part, this is another question that says, please can you share tips on how you prepared yourself for marriage? Please can you share tips on how you prepared yourself for marriage? By the time I was coming to know about the concepts of preparation for marriage, the time frame between that and when my husband proposed was so short. So I had just gotten to know about praying for your spouse even before the person is even in view. So I just started, and if I know it, someone was proposing to me, I was like, God. So most of my preparation per se was when we were already in courtship. So there's one, the prayer aspect. How to prepare yourself for marriage. You pray for yourself that God would mold you into the person that He wants. God is not going to give his son, his beloved son and daughter, someone that's going to come and mess up their life. So there is some level of work that God has to do in you. And I love to say that God has to do in you. And yes, it's a collaboration between you and God. But I just really believe that you don't prepare yourself, it's God that prepares you. Because there are circumstances that God will bring your way. And you're like, I could not have learned this on my own. If I read how many books on marriage. There are circumstances that only God can bring that will compel me to learn a particular lesson. I remember when the Holy Spirit taught me the lesson of not placing the responsibility for my joy in my husband. Gosh, during that season, it was the season just before he did like a public proposal. I was upset about everything. My mood literally depended on our interactions. Like if I sensed that he was even slightly upset with me, or he had not done this particular thing, or he had not behaved this particular way, it was enough to ruin my mood for years to come. Till tomorrow I'll just be upset. I don't know, I'm upset, I'm just upset because I had literally given him the responsibility of being the source of my joy, which is crazy. Because now when I think about it, I'm just like, it's so strange. I'll probably do a whole video on that. But there are circumstances that only God can cause to happen for you to learn a particular lesson. So pray for yourself, pray for your future spouse. Then yes, doesn't mean that you should not read books. You have to read books. You have to be intentional as well. I read so many books. I was like, it was when he proposed to me that I started reading books. Sorry guys, if my husband is disturbing me that way. It was when he proposed to me that I started reading. I read books about the purpose of marriage. One of the questions I asked him before accepting the proposal was, what is the purpose of marriage? Because I read it in a book and God began to make me understand how he sees marriage. So I was testing him that what is the purpose of marriage? Tell me. So according to you, what's the purpose of marriage? And he answered so well. So I read so many books. I don't think you can really succeed, be it in courtship, be it in marriage, if you just don't have the knowledge. The Holy Spirit will bring to remembrance things that at least you know, not things that you don't, things that you know. So fill yourself with knowledge. Identify your weaknesses. I still identify the things that I was not so good at, and making intentional efforts to improve. Started upgrading my cooking game, started upgrading my house chore, or how they call it, home economics, house management game, things like that. What are the things that are necessary for a marriage? What are the areas where I'm lacking? How can I intentionally improve? And singlehood. Prepare yourself for marriage by living your best life. I think I need to put this in here. Sorry guys, let me just check that this is still rolling. Okay, by living your best life, by making sure that you're not obsessed with the concept of marriage. Okay, by living your purpose, by doing you. Like, if this marriage wants to come, I should come. If it doesn't want to come, I am satisfied. I am doing the stuff I want to do. I'm living my best life. I'm rocking my world, impact people, do stuff. I mean, just don't be obsessed with the idea of marriage. Just enjoy your life. Just enjoy your life, Sha. So guys, I think that's it. I'm really trying for this video to not be too long. I don't know if I've succeeded at that. But thank you so much. If you have watched the end, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Please leave a comment. Please share your thoughts with me. Sorry guys, my ring light has decided to disappoint me. Share your thoughts with me. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe. Please share this content with other people so that they are blessed as well. Maybe someone needs to hear something in this video. And yeah, see you in my next video. Bye bye.